Hey, hope you are doing amazing. TJ Atkinson in the building, your finance coach. So let's go. So today we're going to be talking about investing. We're going to be talking about stock market investing. But more importantly, I'm going to be talking about why I'm doubling down my funds in one of our favorite companies in the world, Amazon. Now, to some people, and some people will argue with me and say the train for Amazon has passed. And I'm going to show you why it hasn't passed and why, in my opinion, Amazon is still an incredible buy opportunity for a long-term growth stock. So I've been in Amazon for quite some time. I'm doubling down, especially in this period during this pandemic. I'm throwing more of my funds into Amazon. Guys, do me a massive favor. If you love my content, if you like hearing more about what you can do better with your finance or with your investment, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Make sure you like and comment. It really helps to get this video in front of more people. Let's get straight into this. Why am I throwing all my money into Amazon? Now, of course, when I say all my money, I never recommend you put all your eggs in one basket. I am spending a significant amount of my money in Amazon. So there are a number of reasons, and I'm going to go through the stats to kind of counter what some people will say is a missed train. In fact, I think Amazon is still an incredible opportunity. Now, as I always mention with regards to any investment, play the long game. Now, if you had this conversation with people in 1997 or 1999, let's double check. Amazing. So if you had this conversation with someone in 1997 who managed to watch a video like this, we didn't have YouTube then, but let's say someone came across the information to invest in Amazon in 1997, on 16th of May 1997, and they bought Amazon shares at $1.73, trust me, there would be no conversation about whether you should throw more money into Amazon. Then of course you've got to take into consideration one or two corrections that have happened in the market, one or two corrections that have happened with regards to the Amazon share price, and I still expect a few more corrections to happen. But I also believe this is a long-term significant growth stock that's going to go to distance. So let's go back to 1997. Let's imagine I'm an investor. I don't know how they spoke then, I don't know where they're from, so I'm not going to pretend to do an accent, but hey, I want to buy some Amazon shares. How much are they? $1.73. Oh, that's quite pricey. Is it worth it? Well, give it a try. And guess what? If you had bought shares then at $1.73, give or take one or two corrections, you are looking at, let's say you bought one share, just one share. As of today, Amazon share price is $3,311. Now imagine you have taken your life savings then and you dumped it all on Amazon. Let's say you put £10,000, you put £100,000, you put £1 million. And this is why Amazon is an incredible company. And I'm going to give you some reasons as to why you should be looking at Amazon as a good long-term investment. So I'm going to spend some time explaining why I'm doubling down on Amazon. One simple reason: the pandemic. The coronavirus, the lockdown, it's completely changed the way we behave. And that word is so important. Our behavioral patterns have changed with regards to shopping. So once you catch that, you start to understand why Amazon has blossomed significantly during this period. In fact, let me give you some stats on that. So let me find this, and let's say in the last 6 months. So of course we've been in this since maybe May, but let's say the last 6 months or so. So since May, we've seen Amazon shares skyrocket significantly simply because of a number of factors, but more importantly, because patterns of behavior or patterns of shopping have changed. So it means there's a prominent light on e-commerce, and Amazon is the biggest e-commerce business in the entire world. Think about it. When there was lockdown, people couldn't go out shopping. So what happened? They changed the way they behaved and started shopping online. So you might have said before that Amazon was full of millennials buying small, tiny products that they probably didn't need. But that was one small part of the market. Now imagine the entire population have now gravitated towards online e-commerce shopping for their daily goods and weekly produce and everything in between. So it brought in an influx of new customers who are now addicted to shopping online. So the reason why I keep saying it's an amazing growth stock is because the patterns of shopping has changed and it's been attributed to one specific company. So it means they've captured the attention and the minds and the hearts of a significant proportion of society. Let's go back to the figures. So share price as of 8th of May 2020, while we were in the pandemic, $2,379. Now we've gone through the last 6 months, we've had some ups and we've had some downs, but we've had some significant growth that today it's $3,331. So it simply shows here about $1,000 worth of growth in the last 6 months. Now, some people are going to say, okay, well, we're going to see what's going to happen. There's going to be a recorrection. There's going to be a correction. It's going to rebalance. It's going to restabilize. Look, I don't believe we're going to see that anytime soon. As we're still in the depth and the throes of this pandemic, we're going to see behaviors. We're going to see more people being introduced to the concept of buying every single item that they desire online. There are certain gimmicks that cause certain share prices to increase. However, this isn't a gimmick. This is a change of pattern and change of behavior. In fact, it's an adoption of behavior. Therefore, it's directly affecting the share price of Amazon. So that's one main reason. Look at another company, for example, and I wonder what's going to happen. And this is another one of my investments. So let's talk about Zoom just very briefly. I'm not 100% confident that they are going to have the same sort of growth that Amazon is having. Yes, they've had some incredible growth. In fact, let's go and talk about them just very quickly. Let's talk about what's happened in the last 6 months. So just in the last 6 months, exactly. So have a look at this. So Zoom, 8th of May, $155 per share. As of today, Zoom is $511 per share. Now again, it's the same reason as to why Amazon, in my opinion, is a good long-term growth stock. But there's a complete difference here. Yes, there's been a shift in behavior. But that shift in behavior isn't necessarily a necessity. It's based on the circumstances that we find ourselves in. So for example, let me preface it. Let me go a little bit deeper. Zoom has done incredibly well over the last 6 months because most companies have transitioned from a physical location to remote working or working from home. So it means more people have been introduced to Zoom. Now, one of the reasons why Zoom and Amazon are completely different, yes, they're similar in terms of what's happened with regards to the pandemic. One of the reasons why they're completely different is what happens when multiple companies start to go back to work. What happens when working from home is no longer the prime option? What happens when Zoom faces the other competitors who also provide a similar service? Yes, in this period, they've seen a huge amount of growth because it's necessary. But I believe, just based on my opinion, just based on my research, 2021, 2022, when things start to kick back, yes, I said 2022, when things start to kick back into full swing and it's a safer place and workplaces are getting back together. I know of a few of my clients, in fact, that work for major corporations, and they've been told they're not going back into the office till 2021, 2022. So once that's rectified and people start going back to work, then Zoom is not going to be as needed. Unlike Amazon, where the pattern has completely changed in terms of our behavior with regards to shopping has changed. I hope you catch that. I hope that makes sense. That's the two different reasons as to why I'm not doubling down on Zoom, but I'm doubling down on Amazon. When you're looking at a company like Amazon, yes, the share price might be $3,300, but you've got to analyze what their future plans are. Now, Amazon, in my opinion, is a company, a multifaceted company. Yes, on the horizons, it might look like it's just e-commerce, but Amazon have a big, massive stake, a big, massive share in the cloud market, in the cloud space. Pardon the pun, cloud space pun, okay? But they have a big, massive hand or big, massive hold in that space. Amazon's AWS cloud platform, so Amazon's web services, amounts for around 11% of their revenue. Now, of course, when you consider Amazon's revenue, it might not seem like a lot, but 11%, one product is contributing 11% to your revenue. That's significant. Now, these are the things you've got to consider when you are looking at a company. What are their different products? What are their different services? Have they diversified? Now, if you're watching this as a brand new investor, you've got to understand the process of diversification. Your portfolio should be completely diverse. And the reason why, and again, it might seem like basic, but the simple reason is if one industry or one sector takes a hit, you don't lose everything. Because it's unlikely that each separate sectors or industries will get smashed and dissipate all at the same time. So you want to protect yourself by not putting all your eggs in one basket. And Amazon is a prime example of that. E-commerce, cloud space. E-commerce, cloud space. E-commerce brings a significant income. Cloud space brings a significant income. 11% to that tune. And I'm not going to calculate what 11% is, but 11% is damn sure a lot of money, which brings a lot of faith in what Amazon is doing and what their future plans are. So we're talking about diversification. There's a simple reason for diversification: multiple streams of income. As we all understand it, and we attribute to say to every single millionaire and billionaire, they have multiple streams of income. So when you are looking for an investment, when you're looking to invest in a specific company, these are the tiny things you've got to look out for. Are they practicing what they preach? Do they have multiple streams of income? Because if one is interrupted, then guess what? Is the business able to survive? And we've been able to see companies like Primark. Yes, they've got a load of money and a load of money in the bank and a huge cash reserve, but they've been significantly affected by the pandemic because they failed to transition or to include online services. So when they got punched in the face and all shops and all stores were closed, they were losing hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. That's because they didn't have multiple streams of income. So would I make an investment in Primark? If I could, I would probably say no, because they are not diversifying their funds or their business to provide me with the safety that I need. One of the other reasons why I love Amazon and why I'm steadily doubling down, again, Alexa. If I could find you the details on Alexa, in fact, let's do that now. How many Alexa devices are sold? Okay, so in early 2019, the company announced that over 100 million Alexa powered devices have been sold. That's absolutely bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. Absolutely crazy. So you've got to look at the multitude of reasons as to why you trust a company to hold your money, invest your money, because essentially me buying shares in that company is me saying, hey Jeff, I call him Jeff, I believe in you and I believe in the vision and I believe in the multitude of promises that you are making us / products and services that you are offering. I believe in that. And I do. So of course there are some negatives as to why Amazon for you might not be the best investment to make right now. And for me, there are a number of things that I've got to consider as well. There are certain things that I look for when I'm investing in a company. Leadership. And leadership is probably it's the second most important thing. Well, in fact, it's probably the most important, but on my list of things when I'm looking for a company to invest in, leadership does come number 2, but it actually is number 1. Again, sort that out in your head yourself. Yeah, you can figure out what I'm trying to say. But the point is this: the product has to be there, and someone has to guide that product to market in an ethical fashion. And that's what I see with someone like Jeff Bezos. Leadership. I see someone with a grand vision. I see someone that believes in himself. I see someone that believes in his employees. I see someone that believes in his product. And that's where I'm throwing my money. Now, of course, Jeff is an incredible leader. He's an incredible visionary. He's got big, massive plans for the business. Of course, we've got to question certain things, such as his extramarital situations. But again, that doesn't affect the business, in my opinion. So let him do what he's doing to the side, that's on him. But at the same time, with regards to trusting his judgment in steering this ship as the captain, I trust that. But going back to why, one major thing that's kind of putting me off throwing a ton of my funds into this business is there's been no clear or no definitive demonstration of a succession plan. To me, that's vital. Yes, Jeff is the visionary. Yes, Jeff is the engine behind the entire system. Yes, Jeff is the captain of this massive ship. But the truth is this: what happens if something happens to Jeff? And that's what my fear is, and that's what my worry is when I make an investment. And I think everyone has to consider this. Yes, Amazon is an incredible engine by itself, and it's got some amazing board of directors, it's got some amazing management, but most of the time, most people or many people are making an investment in Amazon because of the leadership. Our faith is in what Jeff is able to produce and manage and bring to market. But there's been no direct conversation or no example of who is going to take over running this ship if something happens to Jeff. So again, you've got to find a way to protect yourself at all angles. I came across when doing my research that there was an interview where someone called out Jeff on this and said, hey, yes, look, you're an amazing guy, but what the heck happens if something happens to you? We don't hear much about a succession plan. And Jeff did reassure us and said, I keep calling him Jeff, Mr. Bezos did reassure us and said there is a succession plan in place. There is someone geared to take over if something happens. And he also mentioned that that's along the lines of many of his managers as well, which is quite reassuring. It sits a bit well with me, but I would love to see the person. I would love to see their CV. I would love to know their background. I just don't want someone to take over and say, hey, Jeff put me here. I would love to vet this person so I can make a further decision as to whether the vision for this company or whether the long-term growth for this company is what I believe it to be. So Jeff, if you do watch this video, someone send it to Jeff. Jeff, can you tell us, can you introduce us, can you tell us who is likely to take over and run this ship if something happens to you? One other thing that I would love, now I don't know if they plan to do this, we've seen that with Tesla recently, is a stock split. Now at $3,313 per share, I think it would be an incredible opportunity for a stock split, which will invite a lot more people to get involved in Amazon and invest more funds in Amazon. Again, Jeff, if you are watching this video, I think it would make sense. I would love for you to consider it. And if you do consider it, make sure you attribute it back to me. And I wouldn't mind a few 100,000 or maybe 1 million shares just for that recommendation. But I think this is vital to invite a new group of people, a new set of investors, maybe people that don't necessarily have £3,000 to jump into one investment. Yes, I understand it's an incredible investment, but at the same time, people might not have £3,000 to buy one share in your company, or to buy one share in the company. So maybe consider it. Maybe consider it 4-to-1, 5-to-1. I definitely would still be doubling down regardless. So just a quick one for the people who say, well, do you know what, TJ, you've convinced me. And that's not my job, by the way, guys. As I said, I'm just explaining my position. But for the people that say, do you know what, this sounds interesting, I would love to maybe make some investments in a company like Amazon. I see the vision, I see your explanation, it makes sense, it's a safe bet, it's a good long-term growth stock. If you don't have the £3,000 to necessarily put down to buy one Amazon share, you can do what a lot of my clients do. And in fact, it's something that I do as well. I use a company called Trading212. No, they don't pay me for this, but they offer something called fractional shares. And fractional shares simply means you can buy a fraction of the share. Now, it's a great way for anyone who's brand new to investing. It's a great way for anyone who says, look, you know what, this sounds interesting. I only have £100, but I would love to get a little bit of action in this company. Now, I don't have 3K, I've got 100. Let me put my £100 into Amazon. So you get £100 worth of shares in Amazon as opposed to having to buy an entire block of £3,000 shares in Amazon. I hope that makes sense. If you want me to do more videos on fractional shares and companies that offer fractional shares, make sure you comment down below. Do you have a 10 to 21-year-old that you would love for them to be more financially savvy? to understand about money management, to understand how to invest and grow their money, then I have a training course below. Click on the link, get them booked on the training course, and start to create more financially savvy kids. I'll catch you soon.